Good morning. It is Wednesday, August 28th, 2019, and I put on a leveraged long position here on Bitcoin this morning. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, hit the third time off of this level, and as I was looking at the RSI and details, I thought it's time to try it out. And so I put on a small position here. I'm planning to add on to that position on a break above here. Nice to see that it's come up and it's touching and retesting these levels, but it'll come back and kick me out of the trade pretty quickly. Though it's proven me correct right away out of the trade, I'm still not out of that danger zone yet because it hasn't come up and created structure at least one level above my entry and my stop loss there. So we're looking at the 5-minute bar of Bitcoin. I want to zoom out to the 15 minutes so that we can see that we've got these progressively higher lows. And so this becomes a springboard pattern for me that we're inside the 1, 2, 3. And this is essentially the number 3 that is making a tiny 1, 2, 3 and a tiny 1, 2, 3 at the number 3 point of that one. So it's nested 1, 2, 3s, one within the other. Right at this critical point, I thought, yeah, okay, I'll put on a small trade. I've got lots of time to add on to it afterwards if I am correct. If I'm wrong, there's a very short range, a very small range to know, okay, it's not proving me correct, and actually I'm quite wrong to be in it. And again, jumping in at any kind of size of trade at this range is difficult because it really whipsaws back and forth so much here that it's imperative to start off with a small bit of the trade. Sorry about that, I didn't change screens. So again, here we are with the 1, 2, 3s nesting within each other. We've got the larger 1, 2, 3, and then this is a 1, 2, 3, and we have a 1, 2, 3 inside this. And if I go into those 5-minute bars again, where I was right at the beginning of the call, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, here's the number 3 point, this whole thing, in this larger 1, 2, 3. So that it was making a swing trades entry at the same time, and I was seeing this volume pick up, and the RSI was also diverging. I thought I would try out a small position. I have my stop loss above my entry right now, but it's not looking good for my initial trade here with this coming back below these levels. So it's got to pick up for me, otherwise I'll get kicked out pretty quickly. And so what I'm looking for is for this to build structure now above this support and resistance level. We have this small range, super tight small range. It's got to come up and build some structure above this level before I'm out of that first stage of danger. And like I was saying, there's lots of time for me to add on to this trade. Now I want to do the routine. Here is our weekly RSI. And this weekly candle is alive because we're still Wednesday, so that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this could move up and down, and we'll watch to see how it tilts. If it's tilting down, that's bearish. If it's tilting up, that's bullish. And we'll watch that over the days because we have these important candles. I'll erase my stuff here. These important candles squishing down this way while volume is decreasing. It's like a springboard. It's building momentum that will release strongly. And because of the world economy and everything going on with gold, silver, platinum, I think that Bitcoin is not going to be dipping back from here. No, and it'll be the surprise side because it is the top formation. We have these exhaustion wicks. We have the RSI diverging from it on the weekly. As we go on, let's go to the next one in the weekly view. We've got weaker on balance volume, which isn't a forewarning indicator, but it's also one of those things I've been pointing out as bearish. We've got the negative crossover of the MACD indicator on this range, but it's only halfway up along from where it's been before. It's got lots of range to go higher, and it can easily cross back positive. As we go through that, I'll go through the shorter time frames. And the Ichimoku cloud has remained positive for all the time we've been doing this zoom in on these time frames. Now let's go back to the RSI and start to zoom in. We do have exhaustion wicks on the bottom side. So if I saw these things inverted, I would consider those to be exhaustion candles and that prices are going to be going the other direction. All right, let's continue zooming in on the RSI. This is it's a bullish continuation all the way along. It's a bullish trend, though it hasn't broken up positive yet. It hasn't broken negative, so it gives me that trend line that I want to be monitoring. That if this trend line breaks one way or the other, it's important. We've seen this set up here before where the trend line was similar and we had this similar building at this point. And it'd be really good to go back through the videos from June 27th, 28th, 29th, and the 30th, probably the 1st of July as well. No, up to the 30th of June. All of those videos were watching this same setup through all of our indicators. When that happens, our 12-hour exponential moving average will cross over pretty quickly because we've been going flat for so long. It's a 12-hour exponential moving average on the 60-20 time frame. So when we have 60 12-hour bars, that will flatline the exponential moving average. That means 30 days of time is all we can fit into this for the 12-day exponential moving average for the 12-hour. When we go into the 4-hour time frame, it will cross even sooner because we're almost done all of those 34-hour bars. We can see that the RSI is continuing stronger, just easing up along with the price as there's no supply being left over. This is going to take off. 4-hour time frame, 1-hour time frame. That line doesn't make as much sense now at this time frame, but we can see that the oversold less, so that we're having this divergence of the RSI getting stronger all the way along. And let me clear that off. When the RSI breaks this level, when the RSI breaks this level, that is continuation of the buy signal. So watching this RSI to break above these levels when it's doing a little 1, 2, 3 formation right here on the 1-hour time frame is pretty cool. The 15-minute bar time frame, we can see the RSI is like curving upwards. I'm not going to be able to draw a nice curve on this as possible, but doesn't this look like a ski or a shoe? You know, it's got that curve up at the front, and this is what we were observing in June that was getting me so positive on the bull market. And this time I'm 10 times long on it. So I'm very keen to be adding on to this as it takes off from this. I'll be proven correct, and I'll want to be greedy on this. I'll want to hit some nitro on this because this is the trend continuation. This is the continuation of that trend. And a breakout from here is not going to be lazy, I don't think. So let's go on to the next indicator. On balance volume. Zooming in on this, we've got the zipper of death shipping up here. I don't know if that's true or not, but it doesn't happen very often that we have this on balance volume doing this zipper back and forth. So let's see what goes on. We could go sideways for a long time, for sure. Let's go into the next time frame, clear this off, go into the 12-hour time frame. So still seeing less. Not looking like a bullish divergence. Moving into this one, I can see a bit of a bullish divergence setting up here. So we've got this big dump going on here, and we've got less of a dump over here, and even some buying going on, and now a trickle of steady buying this last little while on the 4-hour time frame. Let's zoom in to the 1-hour time frame. And the dump, less dumping. The bears have less and less power, and the bulls are holding it steady with a bit of steady on balance volume. This isn't super powerful for me. It's not setting up like some of the others I've seen that are just looking so great. This is okay. So we'll see what goes on a break above these levels. That's the really key part. Now, the MACD indicator has always been one of my favorites. I've been really watching for this crossover for a long time as this was coming up. There we have it. But when I zoom into the 1-day view now, this is losing momentum. It's not gaining momentum and getting more negative, but instead it's getting more positive here. And should this cross to the positive, this will cross to the positive, and we'll have a diverging higher lows in the crosses there on the RSI, on the daily RSI, which is pretty important, as every time it's done a cross, we get this pull up. If it's on the cross, we get this pull up. So I don't know how deep it's going to go, how wide, but that it's crossing in these areas here is supporting a bullish view of this take from here. And I do think that if we were to do any kind of Fibonacci's on this, I don't have it set up properly. It's one I didn't set back up over here. Fibonacci. Never goes the way I want it. Clear that off. Fibonacci. And draw this back so we can see where it projects. Well, it's the $20,000. Which is essentially double in price from where we are. Double in price, 20,000, 30,000. So for me, it'll pass the $14,000 range. It'll consolidate there, and then it'll poke up to the $20,000 range in like no time, in 8, 10, 12, 15 days. So what is it now? The beginning of September? Sure, it's easy to predict, but by not very long from now, it would be the 20th of October, we'll say. And so any long position here, now I want to hold it that long. I want to hold it until we get a top formation up at the $20,000 range. And I want to look for that top formation out of here at the $20,000 range. That's where I'll take my profit and get out of that at least one of the longs, because I'll add on. So I may hold one of them till after the top formation and the 4-hour exponential moving average crossover. So I'm looking to hold them long. If this is correct, there should be a whole bunch of nothing to do. So let's go on to the Ichimoku cloud. 1 day time frame is looking negative. We have a negative cross. We have negative here. The only thing that isn't quite negative is that the trailing indicator hasn't cut through negative through everything yet. And if it just moves sideways, I think it will. So this is not supporting my long position. The 12 hour is not supporting my long position. The blue is still below the red line. We have a negative cross. It's not supporting my thinking at all. The 4-hour time frame still is not supporting it. We have a twist to the negative. We have a cross to the negative here. This is all going sideways, like the trailing indicator is cutting through the price, so it's not saying anything. This won't say anything positive until after we get above these levels, which is where I'll be adding on to this trade if it does that. So that's the 4-hour into the 1-hour time frame. This is also not confirming me yet. It has the negative cloud. The blue and the red line are flat lined. The green line trailing indicator has not cut through everything. Let's give a little tick up there as we're talking. So again, this will confirm a little earlier than the 4-hour time frame. But if I'm doing a springboard trade entry, this is it right there for me, even though the Ichimoku cloud doesn't give it to me. So I will be proven wrong by the Ichimoku cloud again if this goes on and it just continues down from here. So now in the 15-minute Ichimoku, zooming into the point of the whole thing, the point of the train, the front edge. This is giving confirmation. And that little tick of green there is also supporting. Since I got in at that little swing entry at the bottom here, I'm good so that my stop is good and I can just sit on that one now and use that as my cushion for the bigger trade that I'll put on when this proves me more correct. So I like the 15-minute is proving me right. The 5-minute is also kind of proving me right, but neither one of them are strongly breaking out. I'm ahead of them with the swing trade entry. Should it blast higher, then I'm ahead of the Ichimoku cloud. And if it drops lower from here, then the Ichimoku cloud gets to spank me once again. Now the Bitcoin dominance is still making the 1, 2, 3 formation. So the alts are still hovering sideways, but it's gaining just that little whisper of strength. And I do think that if Bitcoin is taking off, it's going to take the world stage attention. Though these other cryptos are all fantastic and they're great projects, people will be selling the shit out of them to go into Bitcoin just for fear and greed, FOMO. And so Bitcoin dominance will skyrocket. The alts will absolutely be crushed. And I'll be looking to take my 10 times leveraged profits and scoop up all of those altcoins at that time. Maybe going into the long trades in ADA and those other ones that are on BitMEX. Bring this chart back, go over to BitMEX, and it may be that in the next video, as we're pulling up ADA and we're starting to watch this build up, As Bitcoin is taking off, this will get crushed. There will be a time to jump back out of Bitcoin into these with leverage. So we'll leverage Bitcoin on the way up. We'll jump out of that, take our parachute, and jump into one of these as that takes off. And I'll do this in the next video because I also want to go through all of the cryptocurrency bull market watch as well. Trying to keep this short. Bitcoin prices, Ethereum prices, Litecoin prices, none of these are looking like they're breaking out of their bottom formations. And if Bitcoin was dumping, these should look like they're going to pump. Really. So if Bitcoin's going to be taking off, these will get crushed more. Unless we see Bitcoin taking off and Bitcoin dominance dropping, then that means all of the altcoins are rising as Bitcoin is rising, like we saw from March of 2017 to July 17th of 2017. That's when the really great days in crypto trading were. Back in this stretch from here all the way down to here. But as we can see in this longer term chart, there is a lot of no man's land here. That if Bitcoin dominance breaks above these levels, it's probably going to shoot. As Bitcoin goes up to the $20,000 range again, dominance will crush everything. And at $20,000, I'm going to want to jump over into the alts and go into them with leverage because that's where the bottom formations will be. And that's what I do, trade the bottom formations. So I'm going to finish this video. Let's go over to Bitcoin, zoom in on this one, and I'm going to get on to the next video right away into the altcoins. And I'm going to put in some details about our gold and silver trading as well here in a quick video today. Lots of good stuff going on. Appreciate you guys being along. Hopefully this is helping you make some cash. There goes Bitcoin right now. Let's go back to that. Taking off. Love it. Great to capture it just as it's going and then it goes. So I can't wait to do public free videos on YouTube. I'm going to take the best of the week and do little highlights of these private videos to say, this is what you would have gotten if you were in our community. You would have gotten this analysis. So I think it's worth $15 a month for these views. And I want to build this up so that I can help out AOL Chandra and we can start really building our community. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one. All the best. Bye for now.